plug in my.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. I guess it's afternoon. Can I get you something off the table here?
Yeah. Let's see.
Grab your, I'll scoot this way. Okay. Welcome in to the Village of Schaumburg update here at the Schaumburg Library. We're so happy to have our in-person audience as well as our virtual audience. Hello there at home. We are about to get started with Allison. I did it again.
Albrecht.
Albrecht. Every time I want to say something different, I'm just going to just say Allison and have you do Albrecht every time for the rest of forever. From the Village, she's going to share some wonderful updates with you guys. You guys here know the procedure, what's going on. Allison will take questions at the end. And then for any of my Zoom audience, you're welcome to ask questions in the Q&A, and I will field those out to Allison. And she will reiterate them out loud to make sure that everyone at home can hear the questions so you understand what she's answering. Without further ado, I'm going to hand things over so you guys can get all updated and excited about what's going on.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris. And just wanted to say again, thank you to the Schaumburg Township Library for hosting this presentation. As Chris said, my name is Allison Albrecht. He had it pretty close. I am the Director of Communications and Outreach for the Village of Schaumburg. And so what these presentations are, typically what I like to do is go around every so often and just give a little bit of an update of some things that are going on in the village. So we'll cover a variety of topics. I have a little bit of a presentation that I will go through. And then as Chris mentioned, once we get to the end, then I'll leave some time if there's any questions from the audience or from the virtual audience as well. So if you think of anything virtually, again, put it in the Q&A and Chris will get that to me. Otherwise, I'll take questions from the audience here as well. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll plan to just give you a couple updates on some things that are going on in Schaumburg. All right, let's see. All right, testing out my pointer here. So one of the first things I just wanted to take, just to kind of let you know a little bit about is that the village just got into the next fiscal year. So our fiscal year starts on May 1st. So we just entered a new budget year. And for those of you who are not familiar with our budget process, this budget that we just approved, the board adopted it in April. We have total revenues of $344 million and total expenditures of $341 million. So we've got a little bit of a surplus that we are anticipating for this budget. But one of the key things I wanted to highlight is that we have no new increases in property tax levy for the 5th year in a row. That's something that the village board puts a lot of thought and consideration into. Obviously, everybody has a lot of taxes to deal with. We are doing our best to try to make sure that we maintain them or decrease them as much as we can. So again, that property tax levy was maintained for the 5th year in a row at its current level. But one of the things that the board does have to look at, we're always looking and planning ahead for the future. Everything we do, this budget document is hundreds of pages long. It's on our website if you'd ever like to take a look, schaumburg.com. One of the things we do look at is the way the trends are happening in the economy. So obviously inflation has been impacting the cost of goods and services. Some of that inflation is good. We get some of those through our revenue streams as well, so that is a plus side. But then on the flip side, it does cost the village more for some goods and services that we have to contract with to be able to provide the services to the community. So it's a little bit of a balance there. We're also dealing with additional state mandates that are occurring on the state level. That's something that we keep a pretty good watch on. There's a lot of mandates right now. In addition, the grocery tax is probably something you've read about in the news lately. The state just got rid of that. That was revenues that go directly to the Village of Schaumburg. So that's a loss of $3.4 million for the village. So these are things that the state is doing that impact us on the local level. So we have to keep an eye on those conversations and some of those trends as well, because they will impact how we plan our budget going forward. And then another thing we look at is our annual contributions for pensions as well. That's continuing to rise. So it's just something that we have to kind of look at in that bigger picture. So one of the things that we do look at from a budgeting perspective, it's not all bleak, but certainly because there's a lot of pressures from different places, we are always looking at how do we maximize the revenues that we do have. How do we make them go further? And then we're also looking at what kind of grant opportunities can we get. So that's something that we really do look for with a lot of the projects that we do is, can we get state funding? Can we get federal grant monies? Can we get matching grants? These are all things that help reduce that tax burden, and it helps us be able to do all the things that we're able to do in the village. So. Moving on, just wanted to give a little plug for, one of the things that we do as a professional village. We're a service organization, so it's very important for us to make sure that our departments are the highest caliber that they can be. And one of the things that we did from our police department, we were recently reaccredited by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement. This is a big deal for us because it helps us, we're able to say that we're meeting and exceeding national benchmarks that are set for us. And that's important too because our police and fire departments, heavy service organization, they deal with the public on a daily basis. And we want to make sure that we have professional people doing the highest quality work that we can do. Our fire department was recently awarded the Insurance Services Office Class 1 Public Protection Classification, which is a mouthful. But basically what that means, it's called an ISO 1 rating. It basically means that we have opportunities we're doing everything we can in terms of risk minimization. We've got water distribution, our emergency dispatching, all of those things tied in together. It all helps make our fire department very responsive. We're able to handle emergencies when they arise. We're here to get the job done, and we're going to do it the best way possible. So that Class 1 rating, we just received it this past, actually a couple months ago, but we're very proud of it because it's the first time that we've actually ever reached that in our history. And we're one of 6 communities now in Illinois that has both an ISO 1 rating and we're also accredited. So kudos to both of these departments for making that happen. It's not an easy task. It's a lengthy process to be able to meet all of those qualifications to be able to get those accreditations. So that's something we're really proud of. There we go. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and this kind of ties back to the budget a little bit, is that we recently completed, we're actually in the process of a health services needs assessment for the community. This was something that we started last fiscal year. We completed phase 1. And basically what that means is we're trying to understand future needs of the community. How are we doing in terms of providing services to the community? How are our partners doing? Places like Kenneth Young Center, places like the township, all the other partners that offer health services for our community and that help our community. How are we working together and how is that going? What are the things that we're doing well on and what are the things that we need to do better on? So some of the things from that phase 1 study that just got completed, we found out that we had a number of strengths. Some of those strengths include collaborating well with the partner agencies. We are a diverse community. We've got a lot of green spaces. We have a strong business community, and we had a strong response to COVID, which kind of gave us high marks in that area. Second was there were things that, social determinants of health facing residents. These are some of the obstacles and challenges that residents typically tend to face. That's dealing with public transit barriers. It could be housing cost challenges, language barriers, and challenges accessing, affording, and understanding health insurance. So that was something that came out of this phase 1 study. And then the third piece is that we've determined that we've got capacity and room to grow. We've got opportunities. So we want to look at how do we work and determine what services are going to be needed in the future going forward. How can we help people with disabilities, young people, people getting additional access points to healthcare, preventative services? How do we get those services closer to the residents in need? So that's something we're going to continue to kind of take a look at. So where we're at in the process is, like I said, we did complete phase 1 last year. So we are now that we're in this new budget season, we are now starting on phase 2. And so what that means is we're going to be taking all that information from phase one and kind of putting it together into a community health improvement plan. That's going to kind of be our roadmap of how are we going to possibly address issues, evaluate strategies that might work going further. And then how do we address maybe service gaps that we currently have or that we may have in the future? So a lot of work to still be done on that. We'll probably have additional updates as we kind of move further into the calendar year, but that process is ongoing. One of the other pieces that I'm proud to talk about is that we as a village, we typically, when I talked about benchmarks a few minutes ago with our professional departments, we as a village, we also look at how are we doing in terms of meeting the needs of our residents. So every 3 years, we do participate in what's called the National Community Survey process. So what we do is that we take a random sampling, it gets mailed out to various households in the community. We have them assist with a survey. This year, we're also going to have an online survey that's going to be open to the public. So I'm really, really going to encourage those of you watching online and those of you in the audience. We definitely want to get your feedback on this because your input on this helps us determine how we're doing on the quality of our services. How are we doing as a village? Are we meeting your needs? And are there areas that we need to focus on? So a lot of the feedback that we get from this community survey process, we use that, the board uses that in terms of making decisions for policy going forward. It also helps us determine where do we need to spend certain budget dollars to make sure that we're addressing those policies that might be created. So definitely look for this. This is going to be coming out, I think, a little bit later in the summer into the fall season. So there'll be a lot more information on the National Community Survey in our communications going forward. So, and also in our Cracker Barrel that'll be coming out in the fall. So I definitely encourage you to take that survey. We would love to get your feedback. It's definitely very helpful for us going forward. Moving on. Oh, shoot. Pardon me, let me go back one. Come on. Sorry, it's a little finicky on the little switcher there. Also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the construction projects that are going on. Some of these I may have hit on before, but just wanted to talk a little bit about the progress that's being made. Our National Parkway construction project. This one began in 2023. It's Gulf to American. It's expected to continue through July into the summer here a little bit. Right now, this is close to traffic. We have a storm sewer relocation that occurred. And then you can see the roundabout that's being installed here. They've been working on that very quickly. Had a lot of good weather lately, so they've been making some good progress on that. So right now, they're getting completed the roundabout section. There's electricians that are installing the wiring for all the lighting that's going to be there. And then we'll be working on a bike path and the driveway aprons in that area as well. So that's been a long-term project, started last year and is now continuing into this summer. So we're hoping that will be wrapped up hopefully in the next few months, and then we can reopen that roadway for the public. So.
Question, is the bike path going to be done at the same time as the rest of it, or are you going to put that off?
I believe the bike path is supposed to be done while the rest of this construction project is going on, but I can confirm that for you. I know that's something that they're going to be working on shortly. Another big key road project that's going on right now is our Rodenberg Road construction. This is another project that began in 2023. It's Irving Park to the village limits. Also, right now, as you can tell, very close to all kinds of traffic, including pedestrian and bicycle traffic as well. This is a full reconstruction of Rodenberg Road. Basically, they're putting in a storm sewer installation, which is already completed. They're installing drainage lids. Concrete curb installation is about to begin pretty soon. And then we're getting ready to start that reconstruction process for the roadway as well. And then we're also going to have an 8-foot wide multi-use path that will be constructed on the east side as well. And then Metra is also doing some new railroad signals at the crossing. So there's a lot of activity happening in this area. There is a posted detour in the area that is going to continue to be followed until this project is complete. This one's looking at a timeline for the end of 2024. So this one will continue to be under construction for most likely the rest of this calendar year. But we'll continue to give updates. And a couple of these projects, if you want to get more of these regular updates, for those of you who have not signed up for our free e-newsletter, the progress report, we do give weekly updates on these projects. So great source of information. If you haven't signed up already, highly encourage you to do so. That way you can get the latest and greatest, and you won't have to wait for me to talk about it. Couple other improvements I just wanted to mention. It is summer, so we are kicking off, actually we have kicked off construction season, basically started around March timeframe. We're working on our 2024 street improvement program. It's almost 15 miles of preventative maintenance, almost 2 miles of corrective resurfacing, and 6 miles of reconstruction. So this is in addition to some of those big projects I just talked about. This is all the work that you'll see throughout most of the neighborhoods in the village. And then we also, in conjunction with a lot of our street improvement program, we also do water main replacements as well. Again, we try to think ahead, obviously budget and plan ahead. When we have streets that need to be torn up and we need to do the water main, we'll do the water main first, obviously, then reconstruct the street afterwards. So we've got 2,700 linear feet of main replacements that are going to be happening this fiscal year. So that will also be taking place with some of those road projects. And you can take a look and find out what streets are going to be repaired. We do have a map on our website, so schaumburg.com. You can take a look and see more specifically which streets are part of this year's street improvement program. Another highlight I want to mention is our Ron Pandy Memorial Fountain Rehab. That's actually going to be taking place right here in Town Square. Not too far from here, there's a beautiful water feature out here, kind of over by Oberweis. That one has had some repair issues the last couple of years, aging. Now it's come to the point where we need to do some pretty heavy duty work out there. So we're going to replace a lot of those features. We're going to have some new water features, lighting that's going to go in there. So that fountain is expected to be closed this summer through the year to be able to get those construction pieces done. So I believe we'll be looking at next year when we would be able to reopen that for the public. So that'll be exciting for people. We do get a lot of questions about that fountain when the temperatures get hot. So happy to see that we're going to be getting that a little bit of a facelift. So. And then also you're probably aware of, if obviously you've driven down Schaumburg Road lately, you probably noticed some traffic signal modernization that's going on. That's a Cook County project. I just wanted to mention it, that obviously is still taking place through multiple intersections on Schaumburg Road. They're redoing the signals, they're upgrading the equipment. They're also doing some median improvements in some areas and some ADA ramp areas for some of those intersections. So a lot of that work is going on. I've been told that they've been making good progress and things are kind of they're on schedule with some things. So that's good to hear. So.
Will they be repaving Schaumburg Road? Where they haven't, it's way far east and way far west. Schaumburg Road has been repaved, nice and smooth, and then in the middle here, it's bad news.
Yeah, I don't know.
After they're done with the lights.
So the question for the virtual audience was if they're going to be repaving kind of the outer portions of Schaumburg Road. I'm not aware of a repaving schedule for that section, but I'd have to check with Cook County on that because that's their jurisdiction. So certainly if there's a question, we can talk to our Public Works Department. They may have some additional information on what their schedule might be if that's in planning or design coming up. So, Okay, here we go. All right. Next up, just wanted to mention, and I probably have talked about this a little bit before, but this is another big project. We talk about road improvements and bike improvements and signal modernization. One of the other pieces of capital infrastructure that we're looking to improve from a village standpoint is addressing some of our aging facilities. And we've got 2 of them on the list here that are in discussion. You may have read about them in the news lately. We're looking at replacing our Village Hall, our Robert O. Atcher Municipal Center, built in 1971, and then our Public Safety Building, which houses our police department on Schaumburg Road, that was built in 1975. So these buildings, actually all of our village facilities were studied at length a couple years back. We were assessing the use of that space. There's a lot of need for, it's inadequate for the current needs, it's inadequate for the future needs. So the process right now, we are working with an architect to come up with some new designs for going to be both of these buildings in the future. We do know that our Village Hall is going to be rebuilt on the current Village Hall location over at Summit Drive there. So that is not going to be moving anywhere. We're just going to be demolishing the old building and rebuilding there. We are still working out the location of the police station that is going to move from its current location to a location to be determined. So hopefully we'll be able to announce that at some point pretty soon once those details get finalized. So there's a lot of information and a lot of details going in there, but something we're working on as well from a capital improvement side. Speaking of other improvements, one thing we were excited about recently, we did have a groundbreaking recently for the Lurie Children's Outpatient Center. That's a new development over at 1994 North Roselle Road. This outpatient center is going to be the first ground-up build since the completion of the main hospital in 2012. So we're really excited to be able to welcome Lurie into Schaumburg and to be able to serve the northwest suburbs. It's going to be a great facility. This is a bit of a concept on the top here. It's a $60 million investment into Schaumburg, and it's going to expand their pediatric health services in our region. So very excited about this. Like I said, we just had a groundbreaking not too long ago on it. So that construction process is going to kick off very soon. In their first year, they are expecting to host approximately 60,000 patient visits. So going to be very well-used facility. And they're also going to employ 85 full-time employees. Construction, as I mentioned, is underway, and they expect to be completed in the fall of 2025. So very excited about that development. A couple of other new businesses that have come into town recently. Just wanted to highlight a few of these. Valvoline Instant Oil Change has got a new location near the corner of Wise and Irving Park Road. We have Jung Bu Market opened a new location that was replacing the old Toys R Us building. They are authentic Korean and Pan-Asian fresh products. So they actually opened and are serving the community already. We also have McAllister's Deli. They renovated the former Fuddruckers building on Gulf Road. Obviously, they got some great deli sandwiches, and actually right next to it, they also have a tropical smoothie cafe. So it's actually joining in that facility right there, and they have a lot of great smoothies there as well. So a couple new businesses there. We've got Dave & Buster's that opened, a new location in the streets of Woodfield. That replaced the old GameWorks building that was there. That was about a $7 million investment to bring Dave & Buster's here. So we're happy to have them opened and serving the community. We have Palooza Pizza, offering obviously a lot of different pizza and burgers and appetizers. Pet Sweets on Wise Road just recently opened. Vintage Cafe, that was the former Cafe Stube. Great place in a alternative to Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, and a great coffee location, and they do offer entertainment as well. Suburban Orthopedics opened on Perimeter Drive. And then we have the new Outback Steakhouse. That was a new development at the southeast corner of Gulf and Meacham that opened recently. And that was basically a replacement location for their current restaurant that was at 216 Gulf Road. They invested about $2.5 million for this new location, so we're happy to see them open there. I'm gonna start pointing this over there. over at Woodfield Mall, I just wanted to highlight a couple of the recent openings there. Always glad to kind of highlight what's going on at Woodfield. Primark was our European retailer that opened in the former Sears space. Earthbound Trading Company, Carter's Oshkosh B'gosh, offering the high quality baby clothes. Our fan favorite, Radio Flyer, we love them around the holidays. They opened last November, but great, unique, their first brick and mortar store here right in Woodfield. So that's a great one if you haven't checked them out. And quite honestly, they're a lot more than just the wagons, right? They have bikes and a lot of other stuff. So if you think they're just wagons, they're not. There's a lot of stuff, so hopefully go and check them out. Perfumania, a fragrance retailer, and then we had Velocity Esports, which is a video gaming and arcade place that opened recently. A couple other ones that are coming soon I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Aritzia, I probably got that wrong, women's lifestyle apparel boutique that'll be opening soon, and Tickner's men's clothier, offering brands like Tommy Bahama, and then Inspiration Company that does bracelets, necklaces, charms, rings, and journals. So we've got a couple different fun and unique things that are going to be opening soon.
Real quick, an online guest had asked a longer question, but part of it, because you're here.
Yes.
Are any of these stores replacing anchor stores at Whitfield?
The only one that replaced the anchor store would be Primark. Primark went into the old Sears, second floor, thank you. Second floor, yes. The other ones, I believe, are just other storefronts within there. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why are none of the new dispensaries not listed as new?
They're kind of not all that new anymore. Yeah, we have a number of dispensaries in the village, but yeah, a few of them.
Is the village only allowing a certain amount of
Yes.
licenses?
Correct.
For those types of?
Yes, the question is how many licenses for cannabis dispensaries? I believe that number is 5 licenses total. So yes, they can't be everywhere. There's just 5. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, we're just kind of doing, some of them have already opened recently. So this was kind of the latest list that I had. So,
right.
But yes, we do have a number of dispensaries in the village, yes.
And the gambling places are quite a few of those too. I don't know how many are new. They've been there.
There's some video gaming. Yes, there's some video gaming establishments as well. Mm-hmm. Yep. Wide variety of new businesses. Mm-hmm. Couple of ones that are just coming soon. Steinhoffel's on Gulf Road, Napleton Subaru, Patrick Genesis, Fogo de Chao, which is coming soon. That one will be a big one on Gulf Road, a brand new restaurant. If you like steak, that's the place to be. Sky Zone Trampoline Park, and then Narav Express, a couple of the businesses that are in the works and hopefully coming very soon.
What are those businesses on the southwest corner of Gulf and Meacham that are under construction?
Southwest.
There's 2 outlots that are building
Yep.
on that corner.
So that's the former, is that the former Macy's Gallery? Yeah, former Macy's Gallery. The question was what's going in
West corner.
so,
By export.
by export.
ComEd and maybe Starbucks, I think, and Chipotle is what I was told by economic development.
Okay, so southwest corner of Gulf and Meacham by export is ComEd,
Yes.
I heard Xfinity is going to have a new building there.
possibly, yeah.
Xfinity, right, or Comcast.
Comcast, I was gonna say, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So clarification, so at the corner of the southwest corner of Meacham and Gulf, there's a couple new establishments that are going on there. So we're looking at Comcast, Xfinity, and then Starbucks.
Maybe Starbucks and Chipotle, I know for sure.
Okay, Chipotle for sure, and then maybe Starbucks. So there's a couple things that are still in development there as well. Mm-hmm. All right. We're still working on, the village is working on, and you may have heard that we're looking at Andretti go-kart racing to come into our entertainment district over at 90 North. So this is the area that's really kind of right by the Renaissance Convention Center and Hotel. This is something we've been working on for a while, but we're anticipating to hopefully break ground and sometime this year. We're very excited to bring them into the community. We're also looking at, as part of this development piece, another entertainment venue, a restaurant, and a 900 space parking deck with an elevated walkway connecting to the Renaissance Hotel. So this is a big piece of development that's going on. That's why, these things don't happen overnight, but it's something the village has been working on the last couple of years. We're very excited to welcome them. I hope to have more concrete information about the timeline of things, hopefully in the next couple months, that we can share. But we're very excited to hopefully welcome them into our town. Speaking of things coming up, farmers market, for those of you in the community that like to check out our local goods here, farmers market will be opening this Friday, which is June 7th for the season. We've got about 47 vendors that are participating in this year's market, so we've got a lot of variety for everybody. Everything from fresh fruits and vegetables to the crepe place, the knife sharpening, there's a lot of great things there, patronizing our local vendors, so that'll be a great amenity for the summer season. We offer it every Friday, 7 to 1 p.m., right here over by the Trickster Cultural Center parking lot, and that is going to all the way until October 25th, I believe, the very end of October. So every Friday, open to the public. Also just wanted to do a little PSA reminder, no pets, bicycles, skateboards, or scooters are allowed in farmers markets. So please leave those home if you are planning on attending, just for the safety of everyone who is going to be there. So very excited to kick that off this Friday. So I can't believe that it's June already. So happy to welcome that back for the season. A couple other June happenings that are going to be going on. We are in June, so we have started our Bike Month activities. We had our Farad tour just this past weekend. It was a beautiful bike ride through the community, but we do have a lot of other bike activities offered through the month. There's a number of different things. There's a couple different challenges. Family and Friends Bike Classic is starting, basically encouraging families to kind of get together, record their mileage for the month. You can submit it, and for the opportunity to be the winner and to get some cool gifts from the village. We're also looking at a business bike classic as well, bringing that back. So a lot of different fun activities for the month. Encourage you to check it out on our website, schaumburg.com, if you'd like to participate. Or if not, just check out some of the different biking maps that we've got available and just, enjoy biking in Schaumburg. We've got a lot of different on-street and off-street bike routes throughout the village, so definitely take advantage of those this summer season. Also mention, as I talked about before, Farmers Market beginning in Town Square on the Friday, June 7th. We've got a peony party fundraiser for our Schweiker House on June 8th. Also information in our progress report e-newsletter on that fundraiser if you'd like to attend. We do have our community blood drive on June 13th. For those of you who are regular blood donation folks, we do have a different location for all of our blood drives. We did change to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints from the barn. We used to hold all of our blood drives at the barn, but we were looking for a bigger location to be able to serve more people. So this was the location that was chosen. So that is the new location for all blood drives going forward. And then we do have the Father's Day Pancake Breakfast at the Schaumburg Regional Airport. That's on June 16th. A great event. Welcome to come on by. It's hosted by Rev Aviation. It is held at the airport, so you've got a really cool venue and a really cool backdrop. I encourage you to get some breakfast with Dad, or just come on out and just enjoy breakfast. It's a good time. And then our Prairie Center is starting to kick off, will be kicking off shortly, its season of Summer Breeze concerts. We offer these every year. Saturdays at 7 o'clock, typically runs July and August months. It's on the Municipal Center grounds and it's free to the public. So a lot of great bands that are lined up for the season already. So encourage you to kind of come on out. It's a great event, great time to just be outside, enjoy some good music with friends and neighbors. So if you haven't checked it out before, feel free to come on by for those. We also have our Prairie Center is looking forward to summer theater this summer, coming up with a production of All Shook Up. So if you're an Elvis fan at all, this will be a production inspired and featuring the songs of Elvis Presley. It's going to feature the talents of area high school students and college students. So it'll be a great production. Performances will be late July and early August. Again, more information on our website or Prairie Center website that you can check out, and the tickets are on sale for that. So you can certainly get more information and get those tickets while you can get them. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, the other big thing on the calendar, we are definitely in full planning season for Septemberfest. happens every year at Labor Day, our Labor Day weekend. We do have some really cool announcements for the main stage entertainment. I cannot tell you it today, but a little birdie says it's going to be out tomorrow. So keep your ear to the, you'll be able to find out that information tomorrow when we announce it, but we've got a lot of great acts that we're really excited about, a little bit of something for everybody, I hope. So a lot more information about Septemberfest is already on our website. We are currently looking for sponsors. We're also looking for volunteers who may want to assist at the fest. We always need volunteers. So if that's of interest of you or someone you know, feel free to get in touch with the village. We'd be happy to get you set up with that. And you can help out for the fest. And just lastly, a couple little housekeeping reminders. Again, I am bringing you this information as a spokesperson on behalf of the Village of Schaumburg, but I do not make the policy decisions. I am not the village board, I am not the mayor, so I'm just here to talk about some of the things that they're doing and some of the things that you can look forward to in the year. If there is something that you want to bring to the board's attention, a great place to go with that information would be maybe Coffee with the Council. It's held the second Saturday of each month at 9 a.m. You can ask questions of all of our elected officials. That event is held in our police community room, also our police department. It's just a great little morning that you can spend there. You got a question, you got a concern, you want to talk with an elected official. It's a great opportunity. Of course, you're always welcome to come to village board meetings as well, but this is another opportunity for you. Secondly, on the list, we do also offer Chat with the Brass. If there is a matter of police concern, maybe there's something you're worried about, there's something you've seen in the neighborhood, you'd like to ask somebody from police to look into something, Chat with the Brass is a great avenue for that. Offered every third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. You get to ask questions of all of our police command staff. They'd be happy to talk with you. And that is also held at our police department. So a couple other opportunities just to hear from some other folks other than myself and to get some information on things that you might have questions on. And then lastly, I know I've mentioned a couple different times that, there are definitely, throughout our website, a lot of the stuff that I talked about today, things that are coming up, things that are going on, developments that are happening. You can find a lot of that information on our website, schaumburg.com. We also put a lot of this information in the quarterly Cracker Barrel. The summer one just came out, but believe it or not, we're actually already working on the fall edition, if you can believe that. That comes out in mid-August. And then if we do have our progress report e-newsletter, there's a QR code here that you are welcome to scan, and then you can sign up for any of our newsletters that we have. As I said, a lot of this information about developments and construction projects and things that are generally going on. We do include a lot of that in the Cracker Barrel that comes out every quarter, but we also put a lot of that in our weekly newsletter. So that'll keep you up to date every week with all the things that are happening. And then we also have social media for our folks that like to be a little bit more tech savvy, like to follow things on social media. We're very active on a lot of these channels as well. And lastly, as I mentioned, if you do have further assistance, you need further assistance on anything, you can always dial 311 in the village to be connected with a customer service representative. You can call our main line, 847-895-4500. That also gets you to those customer service reps. They're available all the time, and they're happy to either help answer your question or they can point you in the right direction to get you to the right department that can help you. Same thing with our CSR process, customer service request. These are things that, if you see something in the village you want addressed, maybe there's a pothole or there's a broken street light. Schaumburg's a big village, right? And so we can't be everywhere. We don't see everything. We do need the help of the community sometimes to inform us when something needs to be addressed. So that's what that customer service request is for. It kind of gets that ticket going. You can fill it out online. You can call 311 and they'll get the customer service request started for you. Again, just alerts us that something needs to be addressed in the village, and then it gets routed to the right department so that we can address it in a timely manner. So that helps us out greatly just to make sure that we can get those things addressed for you. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I know it's a lot of information, a lot kind of in a fast-paced environment, but definitely wanted to share just a few of the things that you might be seeing coming up and some things to look forward to this summer. And with that, I will take any questions. So if you do have questions for our virtual folks, feel free to put that in the Q&A. And it sounds like Chris may have a question or two for me.
We already have some, and I turned on my mic so you don't have to repeat these ones.
Oh, sweet. Okay, go for it.
Because some of these are hefty.
Oh boy. All right.
First question from an online audience member is, what is required to add and update crosswalks at certain roads and intersections? Is it extensive and requires studies, or is it a simple petitioning? Which is the best department to talk to about that? As someone who walks their kids around, I would feel more comfortable and safer, or it would feel more comfortable and safer to have increased and improved crosswalks where many cars go through.
Gotcha. So in terms of if crosswalks are being looked at for improvements, I would definitely, if you go on our website, I would go to our transportation department. Those are going to be the folks, anything dealing with, traffic signals, crosswalks, bike pedestrian type issues, all of that's going to get routed through our transportation department. The process for that evaluation, they're going to know a little bit better than I think it does depend on what the location is. It also will depend on which roadways these are. Are they village roads? Are they county roads? Are they state roads? These are, the village doesn't maintain all of the roadways and all the crosswalks in the village. So I think there's some collaboration that occurs there when there's certain improvements that are being made. So for instance, that Cook County project I was talking about on Schaumburg Road, that's Cook County doing that work, but they're making a number of improvements such as median, ADA, and crosswalk improvements there. So that's something they're doing in conjunction with us on that. So a lot of it will depend on a bit of the intersections that you might be talking about. But as mentioned, if you have a list of perhaps locations that you are concerned about or locations that you think would benefit from having crosswalks that do not have them, I would certainly encourage you to reach out to our transportation department, and they can take that information and then give you a little bit more detail on what might be feasible or what that process looks like. I'll take a question from the audience here.
On that topic, actually what's been happening is that crosswalks are being removed in our neighborhood. When they rebuild the streets, they remove the crosswalks. Maybe they were inconvenient or something, but we still have school children in the neighborhood, and there really aren't enough.
And again,
As a matter of policy, that's counterproductive.
Well, and it may be, again, without knowing where it's happening or why it may have been removed for a reason that I'm not aware of. So it could be because the roadway is going to be under construction at some point. I don't know. So I would definitely want to get more information on that to be able to share it with our transportation department. Or I would encourage you to perhaps get in touch with the transportation department to make that concern, because that way they can pinpoint which area you're talking about and may have some additional information on that.
It was all over Lancer Park.
Okay, Lancer Park. Okay. Other question?
Yes. Kind of changing topics.
Sure.
I mentioned this a little bit when you were going through the new stores in Woodfield. Are there any plans to redevelop any vacant properties, such as various car dealership lots, anchor stores at Woodfield, the former Macy's furniture store, and other stores that are no longer in business?
So our economic development is always looking at opportunities for businesses, whether, some that are either recently closed or potentially going to be closed at some point. Anytime that there's vacancies in the village, our economic development is always working on that to make sure that we either refill those or we're looking at development opportunities. In terms of other developments happening at Woodfield, I'm not aware of any other developments that are underway right now. I will say that you mentioned the corner of the old Macy's building that is under development right now. So there is a five building development that's being proposed for that area. So they did take that down. They're looking at a 5 building structure. It's going to house, I believe, 8 different restaurants in there. It's something that is supposed to be actually getting approved, I believe, this month, if I'm not mistaken, through our village board. So that's going through the approval process. And then I believe construction, if approved, construction wouldn't start, I believe, until next year at some point. So that will still be a little bit down the road, but that is something that we are working on actively to kind of redevelop that area. It is a key intersection, so we certainly want to make sure that it's, it's very highly visible. It's a great location for places to be seen. So that is something that we'll be having information coming soon on that as additional approvals on the project. But yes, certainly if there are other economic development, I think you also mentioned some car dealerships too. Some of our car dealerships recently were either remodeled, they've reinvested in some of their properties. I don't have all the details with me, but we do have information on our website under our economic development department. So I encourage you to take a look at some of those as well. They may have a little bit more detail, but yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, we want to make sure we continue to be business friendly. We continue to bring in good business to Schaumburg, stuff that people, find, that find it useful, and that we're making sure those tax dollars stay in Schaumburg too. So, go ahead.
Kind of two things. Wasn't there supposed to be a pub restaurant type rooftop right across the street?
Hopscotch. Yes.
And what happened to that? I thought they were breaking ground in June.
Yeah, so they had some delays on that project, the developer did, but they are, what I've been told, they're back on track after some of those delays. I don't have a groundbreaking date yet, so that's why I didn't really mention it.
I read in one of our, that it was supposed to break ground in June.
Well, I hope so. I know a lot of us have been really looking forward to that because I think it'll be a really unique. Yeah, it's supposed to be really cool. It's going to have an outdoor rooftop bar to it. It's supposed to have pub style, British themed food, drinks. It's supposed to be really cool. So we're definitely really looking forward to it. Like I said, they did have some delays a little while back. It kind of got them pushed back a little bit, but I think they're back on track. So if you're saying June, I'll have to double check on that because we're in June. So I'll have to see if there's additional information on that. So.
Question I have is I don't know what's going on anymore, but I just went to a Cubs game last night, but they used to have a bus service in Schaumburg that took
from the
you
Northwest Transportation?
Took you downtown.
Yes.
Where would I get more information on that?
So we do have, in our transportation department, on our website, we do have PACE bus routes that are listed on there, and I believe they're still running those routes, but I would have to double check that. I know it was something we did provide in the past, so if it's something that's changed, certainly our transportation department would have more information, because those bus routes would run out of the transportation, the Northwest Transportation Center, the PACE area. So
I thought the ones that we took a few years ago kind of was a private that took 50. I don't think it was PACE.
Was that a Rolling Meadows?
Yes.
Oh, a private one? Okay.
Yeah, and golf.
That might be, maybe that's something different than what I'm thinking of then. I apologize. That must be something different.
Not there anymore, but I thought they were going to redo it.
Yeah, that I'm not sure on. But I would still, I mean, our transportation department knows a lot of like those if there's some kind of agreement or there's some kind of a partnership that's occurring. Again, I'm not sure if they know about any private company, but they may have information. I'd give them a call, maybe just ask. So sorry, I was thinking of something different then for that. Mm-hmm. Question back online?
Yes. Does the village currently have short and long-term plans to increase connectivity of existing bike trails? Any plans for new ones? I've noticed one was planned for the strip of green. I believe it's a water and gas main off of Roselle Road behind the Lakewood condominiums and homes north of Weiss Road.
Yes, so we do have a number of bike path. Oh gosh, so we do have a number of bike paths that kind of wraps in with some of the road projects that we're doing. So I don't have a list of all of the bike path improvements, but we do look at closing gaps where there are gaps that are existent in our infrastructure. So anytime that we have the ability, or if it's feasible in some areas it's not always. And then there's other areas of the village that we may be looking at, but we're also seeking grant funding for those improvements too. So as I mentioned, we've got a number of bike ped improvements that are on tap for this year. I didn't really highlight a lot of them here today, but certainly when Chris does do a follow-up email to participants, it'll have my contact information in it. If you'd like to just email me back or contact Chris and we can get in touch, and I can provide you with additional information on what some of those projects are. We do have a number of them listed in the budget, but it's more than I can remember off the top of my head. So I wouldn't want to give you the wrong information, but there are a number of projects that are either in design or actually occurring for this year, so.
There's a patron gave about 5 questions, but one that'll cycle right into this is, are there bike maps still available? And if so, where can they get them?
So bike maps would also be through our transportation department, yes.
Cool beans. I'll just keep going through. Given the recent bankruptcy and auction of Oberweis, what's going to happen to the existing store, and will that impact the improvements to the Rompand Memorial Foundation?
So I haven't heard anything, so yes, I'm aware of Oberweis having some obviously financial challenges. I do know that, like, we have not heard anything that anything is going to be occurring with that location. I'm not aware of any changes to that location or its operations. So in terms of that impacting anything with Ron Pandy improvements, those are completely 2 separate projects, you know, so that would not have any kind of, that wouldn't be linked to that in any way. Those improvements will still take place.
I heard on the news, I think it was just yesterday or day before, that they had a buyer.
Yes,
Someone was purchasing.
yes, I've read that as well. Yes. Yes, so I have not heard anything that our location is closing or anything like that. So as far as we know, I mean, yes, they're going through the bankruptcy process. They do have a buyer. That's what I've heard as well. But I've not heard anything additional in terms of any impacted location, especially for Schaumburg. So hopefully we will continue to enjoy our ice cream there, so.
Will there be a community involvement and input in the redesign of the current iconic Village Hall?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. So we're just kind of kicking off that process. We just started working with Williams Architects in May, so it's very, very, very new process. I think what they're doing right now, what's happened is that we have looked at, we've done some different tours of some different municipalities, just to understand how their buildings are laid out, how their services are kind of operating out of their facilities, what is the look and feel of some of the modern municipality and their village halls today, how are they set up, and then we're also taking a look at what our department needs are. How do we function today, and then how do we think we're going to function 10, 20, 30 years from now? So we're looking at a lot of needs along the way in terms of how we interact with customers. So I don't know that there's any public component input part as of yet, but certainly if there is any, that would be communicated in some of those communication pieces that I mentioned a minute ago via our website or via our Cracker Barrel, our weekly e-newsletter, if there was a public component on that. It's going to be an exciting project, especially for the employees that work in that building, and then also just being able to serve the public better. That's something that, you know, we're looking at as well. It's twofold on that. So there's going to be more information to come on that. It's very early in the process yet.
And then last one on this list is, are there any plans for what will happen to the Lord and Taylor location?
I have not heard anything on the Lord and Taylor location at this point. So I don't have any information on that one.
Perfect. And then you kind of covered this, because you talked about September Fest, right? I'm not
a little bit,
losing my
yep.
mind. There's just a question on what are the plans for future September Fest events, if there's anything else you can share about it.
I think it'll be if you've attended the September Fest in the past, I think it'll look and feel probably generally pretty similar to past events. A lot of great entertainment, craft beer, wine, tent, the main stage entertainments, the local entertainment stages, bingo, fireworks, Labor Day parade, all of the stuff carnival, all the stuff that we've kind of offered in the past. I believe all of that is coming back with little change on that part. Like I said, we're offering obviously great entertainment. We're happy and excited to release that hopefully tomorrow. So we'll have a lot more information on our website on that. But yeah, getting ready for another great fest, and we hope that we see the community come on out and enjoy and have a good time. So end the summer on a good note, right?
That was my last online question.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody's time today. I know that's in the middle of the day. I think it's starting to get nice out, but I appreciate everyone joining me, and hopefully you got a little bit of information out of today's presentation. For those of you in the audience, I know my colleague Josie passed out a survey. If you could, I always take that feedback. It helps me improve these presentations. It also helps me understand what it is you want to learn more about. For our virtual friends, I know that my colleague here, Chris, at the library is going to be following up with some information from today's presentation. So that will include a survey as well. I really would appreciate if you're able to provide some feedback through that survey process. Again, helps me improve these presentations going forward. So with that, I will conclude today's presentation. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Appreciate it.